Pew pew bosh! The turrets are now grounded on the public test branch. This update won't be going live for a little while, maybe in like another week of testing, but oh my gosh, it's fantastic. I absolutely love the turrets, I love the way they move. A few little improvements need to be made, but overall it's a great new addition. So let's go over how to unlock them and how to utilise them. So there's two types of turrets. The Pollen Turret you'll get by getting the chip at the picnic table. It's going to be in the same place it's always been. It doesn't look like any of the chips have moved, but some of them are now called super chips rather than just regular or auxiliary chips. There's 1,000,001 guides on how to go and get the key, but obviously you've got to go to the crack pipe. The Pebble turret you can only access once you defeat the assistant manager boss in the Black Anthill, and it's obviously going to be in the sandbox in the laboratory there. Now with the improvements where you can check the science shop and more, you can do that at any of the science stations, but you do need to return the chips to Burgle still to get access to brand new unlocks. The Pebble turret tower is an auxiliary chip, so it's not part of the major story points. You can see it's going to cost 4,000 science points to buy. To craft it, you're going to need 2 acorn pieces, 1 acorn top, 3 pieces of lint, 1 petal and 2 weed stems. The Pollen Turret is also 4,000 science points, and like I said, you do get it from the picnic table, and it costs exactly the same resources to go ahead and craft and make. So a few things to note: it actually loads up from a chest nearby, so you don't have to have loads of pebbles on you. You can actually just put them all in a chest or pollen inside a chest next to it. The range is about the same as a crafting table, and you can see you can do it. Your best place to put it is actually on the floor. Now that's going to make it more kind of susceptible to damage, but you do kind of get this lip that you can't aim down. In my testing I tried a bunch of things like putting it on just a single pillar. Before I realised it was the actual acorn top that it was sitting on that was restricting its view. So bear that in mind if you're placing these somewhere either around your base or you're going to be putting them at near the mixer defense points. The Pollen Turret is a little bit slower to shoot, and it does do stun damage quite a lot actually against some of the bigger creatures, and it still does also more normal damage to creatures too. Here I'm taking out a few of the mosquitoes. You can see I managed to do it in one shot. It stunned them. They've got a fairly decent amount of life, but you will need to get out and repair it if you take too much of a battering. And as said, if you put it up too high you won't be able to aim below, so you might need to think about that. Now let's take a look at the actual Pebble one, and this does quite a bit of damage as well. It fires pretty slowly still, like it's meant to be double barreled, and you can see them, they're moving, but it still feels a bit like the pebbles are coming from the middle, and I would like to maybe see the speed of it increased a little bit more, or maybe there could be an option to fire both at the same time. You can see I am taking out the mosquitoes with my terrible aim eventually. When it comes to a wolf spider, I did manage to aggro one over, and I was just about hitting it. It took a good amount of these. In fact, I ran out of the pebbles that I had and I had to start using some of the pollen shots. So yeah, you still need to think about aiming for their weak points and measuring whether or not it's going to be worth it shooting at some of these bigger creatures with this. I think it really is designed to help out if you may be doing multiplayer and taking on some of the base defense parts, or you really haven't got it nailed down that you'll be able to shoot creatures anywhere close to you and you can kind of get out and repair without them attacking you. The pollen shots did take quite a while to also stun the wolf spider this time, but you can see I am doing small amounts of damage. And again, you just got to aim for their weak points to hopefully do a lot more, and it still will affect it if you're using the pollen. Now pollen's not the easiest thing to get in the game, so I think the idea would be if you manage to stun it, hopefully you'll be able to jump out quickly and then do some hits on the creature. But yeah, I think the pollen probably needs the most work. The pebblets is fine, but we need either faster pollen shooting or maybe more actual stun damage. If you're kind of a pro at this game, you've probably got blocking down to a T, so it's going to be easier for you to just stun creatures using different armors and weapons and stuff. By the time you get to this stage with the turrets, I can't really see the pollen one being a viable use. It just takes way too long to whip them down, and like I said, it only stuns the wolf spider maybe twice when I was trying to attack it. But a small little tune, increase the speed of it, do maybe a little bit more damage with the stun, and I think it will be perfect. I actually think they should differentiate it between the other turret and make it into a cannon. So someone came into my stream and said they'd heard there was a cannon in there. I was like, no, there's no cannons, there's just turrets. But actually, that was a good idea, Faith. So yes, maybe make the pollen into a cannon and keep the turrets just for the pebbles. But you can see you're really limited. I didn't even put this that high. but I had to really time a shot to try and get the wolf spider. But all in all, I'm super pleased. It takes resources from the chest. That's going to make life a lot easier. And yep, if you can get in a good position where you're not going to be done in by the creatures, then I think this is going to be fantastic. The pebbles do a good amount of damage. Again, I would say maybe the hitboxes could be a little bit more generous. When I was trying to shoot some flies later, oh my god, you had to have like the most perfect aim. And at this point, having been attacked by the wolf spider and a few other creatures, my turrets up here were about half health, and you can see the other one has been destroyed. So either a little boost to them since we can't aim downwards, or maybe, yeah, if they can make a little bit more forgiving so we could put them a little bit higher. But I guess that's the trade-off. If they do that, then people will just use the turrets knowing they can put them on a bunch of foundations and never have to worry about actually getting taken out. I'm sure there may be some tuning and changes. Remember, this is just a week's worth of PTB, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get some improvements added to it, or maybe they'll think it's okay. You let me know what you think about the turrets, and go and check out the rest of the guides. I'm going to be all over the Bug Strike back update. I think it's one of the best ones they've had, and I can't wait to dive in more. Until next time, bye bye.